Alrighty, y'all, just started the recording here, so we'll get started. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I would like to officially welcome everyone to the Fung Fellowship info session for our spring 2026 cohort. And thank you all for joining us this evening. We are thrilled to introduce you to the Fung Fellowship and even more excited for you all to hear directly from our student panelists today. They'll be sharing their experiences in the program, and also we'll be giving you a glimpse into some of the innovative projects that they've worked on throughout their fellowship journey. And to kick things off here, we will begin with some introductions very shortly. We also have a few slides prepared to share with you all today to give you a little peek into what the fellowship entails. And if you have any questions at any point during the session, feel free to drop them in the Q&A chat. We'll also have some dedicated time at the end of the session today with our student panel and staff. Thank you to everyone who've actually already submitted their questions through the interest form. If you haven't already done so, please take a moment to scan this QR code, or you can also use the bit.ly link you see on the screen to submit an interest form so you can receive additional updates leading up to the deadline. And so, with that, I am going to quickly go over this agenda we have for today. First up, as I mentioned, we'll be starting off with some introductions, and then we'll dive right into our program information. We'll be sharing a little bit about our story, how this fellowship came to be at UC Berkeley, how it has evolved over the years, and we'll also share some key focus areas that we explore within the fellowship. We will also talk about our track offerings, where you'll get to take a closer look at the two tracks we offer, health and sustainability. And then we'll shift the spotlight to our fellows, our student panelists. We'll talk a little bit about the industry partner projects, what they've been working on this semester, and really what the experience has looked like from the inside. And after that, we'll walk through the application process, some next steps and deadline and what you can expect. And finally, we'll wrap up with a Q&A session. Again, as I mentioned early on, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A chat. Just a heads up that I might not be able to see my chat while I'm screen sharing, so I might not be able to get to the questions in real time, but I will definitely take a look at those at the end of the session, and I'll make sure to get to your questions once we reach the Q&A portion. So, with that, we'll jump right in, and I'm happy to start with my introduction. Again, good evening, everyone. Thanks again for being here tonight. My name is Priyanka. I use she and her pronouns, and I am the program manager for the Fung Fellowship here at UC Berkeley. My academic and, or I should say, my academic background and training is in social sciences and law, and I had the opportunity to really start my career in the nonprofit world a few years ago before coming to Cal. I'm on my third year now with the fellowship, and it's been an incredible experience seeing how much students bring into this program. Um, I'll say that every cohort, every year, continues to surprise me with their creativity, their passion, their novel ideas, and just such great energy that they bring to the program. So I feel really lucky to have this opportunity to help guide some of that work alongside Jennifer and our amazing teaching team that we have in the program. And with that, I will turn it over to Jennifer to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Really excited to have you here. Yeah, I've been part of the fellowship since it started, so it's kind of evolved in many different ways. And so excited to kind of see, as Priyanka said, what it is every year. My background is in engineering, so I did my graduate work and PhD and postdoc in mechanical engineering and really focused on social impact and environmental impact. So very close to both the health and environmental and sustainability track. So excited to meet you all and answer any questions you might have tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. And we'll turn it over to our student panel today to introduce themselves. If you could please share your name, pronouns, your track, your major, and maybe a little bit about your experience in the fellowship so far. Gory, if you'd like to kick us off.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Gauri and my pronouns are she, her. I'm in the current health and innovation track with Fung Fellowship and I'm partnering up with OncoSpark, which is a revenue cycle management platform company. I know that's a lot of words thrown together. Um, and my majors are computer science and cognitive science, and I'm really excited to be here and share my experience.
Amazing. Thanks, Gory. Nissa, do we have you on Zoom? Just looking through our list here. I think she might be running a couple minutes late. So Nishka, if you wanna introduce yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Priyanka. So my name's Anushka, and I'm currently on the conservation and innovation track. Um, I am partnering with a Spring of Hope for my Fung Fellowship um, partnership. My major is economics, and I have a minor in sustainable business and policy. And yeah, it's been a great experience. I really love my cohort and my team, my lecturer. Yeah, everything's been amazing. So I'm happy that, there's a great turnout here.
Amazing. Thanks, Anushka. And I'm excited for you all to get to learn about their projects more later on in this session. Before we move on, I just wanted to put another call out for Nissa because I don't want to miss her. Does anyone know if she's on Zoom yet?
I don't see her yet.
Okay, thanks, Janine. And we can come back to her. So with that then, I'll start off with our story. So like many other programs on campus, we've gone through many iterations and we've evolved in many ways and continue to evolve, responding to a lot of changes around us, but also within the program, right, with student feedback. And you've probably already seen on our website, we really do focus on co-creating student experience for impact, which essentially means that we are continuously gathering feedback, engaging in active dialogue, and relying on your participation to improve our offerings and tailor our resources to meet the unique needs of our students, especially since we work with such an interdisciplinary group of students. So it's been a very iterative process, but our story began back in 2016 as the brainchild of Coleman Fung, is pictured here with little Pearl, a Cal alum, an Army veteran, an entrepreneur, and much, much more. He had a vision to create an undergraduate opportunity to foster design thinkers to solve real world problems while incorporating technology and interdisciplinary studies. So in 2016, partnering with the College of Engineering and the School of Public Health, we really began as a pilot program. And so the first cohort was a 2 year long program and was first launched with only one track, Health Plus Tech, now known as Health Plus Innovation. Another notable change happened in 2020 when we launched our new track, Conservation Plus Innovation, now known as Sustainability Plus Innovation, in partnership with the College of Natural Resources, Rosser College. And in 2023 is when we changed our track names from tech to innovation for both of our tracks, really recognizing that the term innovation more holistically encompasses the fellowship's focus on technology, on creativity, on meeting customer needs, and insights. And we wanted to ensure that the track names reflect the core takeaways of the fellowship experience, since that is what usually students see first and what our stakeholders see first. And just earlier this year in 2025, we also changed our program model from a year-long experience to a semester model. So this fall semester was a first time trying this semester model, and I'll say it's been going really well so far. And maybe Anushka, Gauri, and Nissa can speak to that a little bit more later on as well. But this was really a change that came about recognizing that we wanted to provide a more structured, high touch, and focused experience in the program while still allowing for flexibility within this highly fast-paced environment at Cal, right? We recognize that there's so many things going on, so many opportunities. So we wanted to make sure that we're providing an experience that's deeply engaging, but also adaptable. And with that said, any of our fall cohort fellows are more than welcome to join us for any of our spring term engagements and opportunities to really enjoy that sustained experience. And they're welcome to continue being a part of the Fung Fellowship community as we consistently try to offer those events and networking opportunities to ensure that the fellowship experience extends beyond your time here. And our latest change, fresh off the press, is the renaming of our conservation track to sustainability. And this shift better reflects the holistic, conservation focused sustainability work our students are doing now, the direction this field is moving overall with shifting global dynamics, and also the kinds of projects that we've been bringing into our program. Um, so, as you can probably tell by now, we really like to change things around here. There's no single right way of doing things. We try new ideas, we pilot, we iterate, we learn, we fail sometimes, we learn again, and we succeed. And that is the mindset that we hope you'll bring into our into your own experience into this program. And with that long history of the program, moving on to the core areas and topics of the Fung Fellowship. So, regardless of which track you choose as a Fung Fellow, these are the three key pillars really embedded into the curriculum. So, you've probably also already seen this information on our website or on some of the information that we've already started to kind of send out that the fellowship is a 3-unit course for which students will be engaging in one lecture and one lab weekly for the entire semester. And so this whole experience with lecture and labs, it's really grounded in leadership, in innovation, and in design. So under leadership, there's some different elements and components, right? Students explore topics like implicit bias, evaluations and surveys, and inclusive teaming, really helping them grow as empathetic and effective collaborators. So empathetic leaders and effective collaborators. Innovation can also include a range of things. Lots of hands-on exposure to technology and engaging in activities focused on ideation, prototyping, and really understanding those digital tools and giving you all a toolkit for creative problem solving. And within the design pillar, fellows mostly engage with um, different design methods, including design thinking, storytelling, journey mapping, as well as persona creation to build those human-centered solutions for the communities you're serving. And so these themes, although general, may shift slightly every year, depending on the cohort, depending on the cohort's interests, depending on the project partners even, but they remain at the core of what makes the fellowship such a dynamic and interdisciplinary experience. All right, and with that, I'll turn it over to Jennifer for the next few slides.
Thank you, Priyanka. So, as Priyanka mentioned, kind of it's dynamic, but one through line that is out throughout the each semester is the focus on the design challenge. So we use human-centered design and other design systems thinking and other design frameworks to really frame a question. And we use kind of the how might we framework with our project partners. So how might we blank and X and solve a problem? You'll hear from other students about the different kind of projects we've had, but this is definitely something that you can count on, that this is kind of the framework of how we address our industry and community partner projects or challenges that they're facing and how we innovate for them. We typically have teams of 3 to 6 fellows. That's kind of the right size for a team to work really well together, to get a lot done, to communicate, to work through different challenges you have as you're working on a team in the project. And one of the really highlights, especially as an undergrad, is you're able to work in a project across majors, which is super cool, right? You're not just kind of focused on if you're public health with those majors, but this is interdisciplinary. So what you're able to learn is like what skills you bring, what skills you learn from your team, and thinking about where you can step up, where you want to step back for others. And again, we definitely encourage you all to explore and learn different skills and within it, outside of your majors, while you're part of the program too. And then again, learning to work across disciplines. And then so we have the challenge from the partner, and then what you'll be working on is really a solution. So you'll do a lot of research, customer engagement, interviews, you'll ideate some solutions, you'll start prototyping those, get feedback, hopefully be able to test and then deploy out. One of the nice things about working with partners is you're able to hopefully these kind of your solutions end up in the real world in some way. And then again, it is a semester long, so we kind of have that each semester. The track offering. So as I mentioned, the human-centered design, this gives you an idea. And we had our instructors recently review to make sure it's representative of the topics that are covered. So you can see it's kind of a wide range of topics focused on public health. These are some examples of different topics that have been covered in the past. And also, of course, the specific topic that you'll really focus on is the design challenge. But throughout lecture, you'll learn about these other characteristics about each of the fields, whether you're in the health or sustainability. And then some of the challenges that you focus on in health are around public health, health equity, social determinants of health, social justice, and different health disparities. Within sustainability, it's, we used to be conservation and biodiversity, but also mapping out to sustainability, environmental health, climate change, these kind of other factors, land use, environmental justice. Justice is a big part of both tracks. And because we also, as we're thinking about it, when we build solutions, we want to really think about how they're impacting the communities and how they're accessible, especially as we start thinking about the type of technology and AI and these other things that are in place. And then in sustainability, again, as I mentioned, looking at land and sea use, species, climate change, pollution, and then invasive non-native species. And I think the third bullet point on both of these is we want to assess these on several different factors, not just is it technically feasible, what does that look like, but the policy around it, society, economics. You want to think about the type of solution you're doing from a couple different lenses to make sure it's viable.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. All right, and moving us along here, I'll talk a little bit about what truly drives the program, right, and the experience within the program. So the core elements of impact-driven innovation, as Jennifer mentioned, that social impact piece, and that really sits at the heart of the fellowship. And they serve as the foundation for how we learn, how we design, and implement change in the real world, as well as here within the fellowship. And so, just really quickly going over these elements, starting off with ideation. Innovation, as you all know, starts with bold ideas, and we encourage fellows to push boundaries, to challenge the status quo, and to think beyond those conventional frameworks. So, this is the space where creativity really thrives and where you're really starting to think outside the box. Community engagement up next. Impact does not happen in isolation. It requires a deep understanding of the people and communities we serve and we interact with. So, through lots of like touch points and lots of active engagement with stakeholders and community partners, we ensure that the solutions we're designing are relevant and meaningful, as well as meeting the needs of the targeted population. Um, Next up, collaboration and teaming. But before that, I do want to note that there isn't a strict order of all these elements and components, right? If one component precedes or follows the next, while there might be times that you may follow these steps in a sequence, in an order, in practice, they often overlap and reinforce one another. So you'll also see that in play as when our student panelists are talking about their projects. So collaboration and teaming, as you again all probably already know, we do not have any major or GPA restrictions, and that's very intentional because we want fellows to work in interdisciplinary teams like it happens in the real world. And so they all bring unique skill sets and perspectives to the table, which often, if not all the time, results in solutions which are more effective, inclusive, and sustainable. Design up next. At the core of our approach is human-centered design, which essentially means placing the needs, the experiences, and perspectives of the end users at the forefront of the innovation process. Technology, as Jennifer touched on this a little bit, we recognize that emerging technologies and lots of new AI tools and lots of new tech tools have the power to bridge gaps and create lasting social impact. Whether, again, it's AI tools or whether that's data science or whether that's digital tools, we are really encouraging fellows to explore how to leverage technology for innovative and ethical problem solving. Leadership, which is again one of our pillars that the fellowship is built upon. This includes leadership exploration as well as leadership development, which are integral aspects of your experience here. Really building key skills such as communication, public speaking, decision making, and even storytelling, really helping you grow into confident leaders, or as we say here in the fellowship, change makers. And last but not least, building. So just how the program has evolved, we really understand and recognize and appreciate that innovation is an iterative process, an ongoing process of learning, relearning, refining, and improving. So fellows begin with research, move through various design phases, and really engage in hands-on prototyping by the time they're done with their design process. That includes both low fidelity and high fidelity prototyping, and really incorporating user feedback to assess the feasibility, the functionality, and real world impact of their solutions. And all these components, like I mentioned earlier, they overlap with each other and are interconnected and they work in harmony. Um, and with that, a quick time check. We are at the midpoint of the presentation here, good on time, so I'll move us along. Let's take a closer look at who makes up our fellowship community. We are incredibly proud of the diverse and dynamic community that makes up this program. Our fellows come from a wide range of backgrounds, experiences, and academic disciplines. The data, that the snapshot that you see here, represents all fellows to date since our first cohort in 2016, giving you a broad picture of the community we've built over time. Until date, excluding the current cohort, 603 students have joined the fellowship community, out of which 53% identify as BIPOC students, 26% are first generation college students, over a quarter, 25% are transfer students. I think that really also speaks to um, the test as a testament to the program's accessibility and support for students from all backgrounds. The community also includes LGBTQIA plus members, 18%, DSP students, 12%, as well as veterans at 4%. Again, all reflecting the breadth of lived experiences within our community. You can also see a little snapshot of some of the majors here. I know it's a little tiny, but data science, public health, EECS, bioengineering, cognitive science, because we have no major restrictions. We have students from all over the campus. And every semester we represent about 20 to 25 unique majors. And across the years, we've had students from over 70 different unique majors on campus. So it's truly an interdisciplinary community. And if you'd like to take a closer look at the range of students who've joined the program, their majors, their backgrounds, as well as different paths our alumni have taken on after graduation, we will drop a link in the chat to our webpage where you can browse more of that data. And next slide is some pictures here showing you what the fellowship may look like inside the classroom. Some pictures were taken during our usual lecture and labs, as well as different events that we host throughout the semester, including final presentations, final semester events, networking events, industry site visits, and much more. We also have guest speakers who come in each semester to share insights on different professional experiences, best practices, trends in the industry, and within your respective tracks. However, there are also some cross-cohort community building opportunities we offer. We recently hosted an alumni panel a couple of weeks ago. We did a focus session on behavioral interviews. It was such a nice way to bring our alumni and current students in the same space. So just an example of one of those events we host. And I think I covered all the pictures here, what's happening here. So with that, I will move on to the most awaited segment of this session, our student projects. So I'll really turn the spotlight over to our student panel to share a little bit about their projects and the solutions they came up with for their design challenges.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka. So, again, my name is Anushka, and I'm a current Fung Fellow, and the project that I'm working on is with a organization called A Spring of Hope, which is actually the lecturer's own organization, which is really cool. Um, but basically, A Spring of Hope is an organization that partners with schools in Africa, and provides them, basic water resources. And they use sort of like a borehole system, to get the water. And it's all very strategically done. But, there's been an issue with the amount of water that is available, because digging these boreholes takes up a lot of resources, and it's just not, it's not efficient to dig more of these boreholes. So, or how might we find a solution to the increasing depletion of water levels in schools that are affiliated with the Spring of Hope? So, in summary, our solution, even though it's, very, um, we've been iterating a lot. It's been changing a lot. Our solution for now has been to create a water monitor that is built with this software sort of programming thing that we learned in class called Arduino. But essentially, making sure that the schools, the students, the teachers know how much water is actually being wasted, or how much water is being used every day, um, in order for them to not make their tanks run dry, or make that easier for them to divide up the water between agriculture and drinking and all these different types of things, bring it back to their families. So yeah, you can see on the right side there are some pictures of us testing this water monitor with this system called Arduino, which is kind of the yellow breadboard thing that you see on the right side there. But we as a team have been iterating and testing this water monitor, um, which is still in the works, but for now, that is our solution.
Amazing. Thanks, Anushka. Alrighty. Next up, I believe this is Nisa's project, but I am not sure if she made it to the session. I'm happy to cover for her if she is not on yet. Um, I don't think so. Okay, no worries. Good thing I know a little bit about this project. Their team partnered with Urban Farm Oasis, which is actually a local community-centered hub here in Berkeley. They sell beekeeping supplies, but also other farming supplies, and they host different classes as well as and community focused events. And their how might we question was how might we rebrand Urban Farm Oasis as a vital community hub and drive sustainable foot traffic without relying too much on traditional social media outreach. And so, to help the organization grow its impact and really deepen that community engagement, the team has created a connection over transaction strategy. Um, this, as you can see, is really divided up into three parts. One is creating an experiential hub. So that's really transforming the physical aspect of the store. The second piece is digital redesigning. So they're redesigning the website into primarily a marketing engine. So thinking about event signups, getting that visibility, more touch points to engage with customers, and also creating clearer pathways for community engagement. So it shifts that focus from beyond just like selling products, right? It's a way to engage with their story, with the organization story. And the third one is introducing a connection first customer service approach that builds loyalty, customer loyalty. They're thinking about personalized interactions, whether that's different emails that they send out after certain transactions, rewarding repeat customers, maybe a loyalty points system, as well as encouraging community ambassadors and advocates. So, as you can see from the two different projects that we just talked about, it can include technical elements, but also really that community serving elements and designing that experience for our organizations. Next project up is OncoSpark.
Hey, thank you, Priyanka. Hi everyone, I'm Gauri, back again here. So my project focuses on something very much involved in healthcare, which is prior authorization, which is essentially the process where insurance companies ask clinics to send certain medical and insurance information before they actually start providing a procedure. And if any detail is missed, whether that's like a diagnosis code or a document or a member ID, the insurance company can basically delay or deny the claim, and patients then have to wait longer for care, which is not very efficient. And so clinical staff today end up spending a lot of time searching through different sections of their existing EHR system because all of this information we've observed is not available on a single dashboard or on a single page. There are this information is like located in like multiple different sections. And so they have to put in a lot of manual work, copying information by hand, tracking submissions across portals. And overall, we've understood that this process is very slow, repetitive, and prone to mistakes, which can further lead to denials. So, where our project comes in is focusing on fixing this by building a very simple system that automatically gathers the patient coverage and order details that is needed for a prior authorization. How we would essentially do this is by basically having a connection between the systems, and being able to connect to the EHR system allows them to pull the data and actually be able to verify all of the information. So, like, it's quite zoomed in, but like there's like patient information, request details, like a validation checklist, which the staff can verify before they actually submit a prior authorization. And it quintessentially organizes everything into one place instead of like having to manually look around, um, switching between screens or like chasing down documents, and they can manage prior authorizations quickly. So I guess throughout this process, this seems like a very, again, technical implementation of a project, but there's been a lot beyond that as well, including user interviews. So we've had the chance to interview medical staff, really get to know if this is something that would actually benefit them and streamline their process, understand how different roles such as nurses, physicians, or billing staff could use this platform. And we're partnering up with OncoSpark, which is, again, a revenue platform management company, and they've been helping us with their feedback and their medical experience.
Thank you, Corey, for that great overview of your current project. And last but not least, I did want to cover one more current health track project. Their highlight week question was how to increase public understanding of the pharmaceutical industry's role in the opioid crisis through an approachable and emotionally resonant physical plus digital awareness campaigns. So you can tell they're thinking about different elements, different points of visibility. Their partner was UCSF, or is UCSF. Solution was a public-facing installation that turns the hidden costs and profits of the opioid crisis into a tactile, personal shopping style experience. So something that folks would can easily access. And what that means was they're designing a shopping cart interface that will create people who are engaged, that will create a printed receipt that reveals real opioid industry data and connects them to further educational material. So anyone, any individual who is engaging with this platform, they could see that real tangible impact and the number that is coming out of this crisis. So that is another health track project that I wanted to highlight before that, or one more actually. I guess for in the interest of time, I might skip over this, but you will have access to the slides after if you want to take a closer look at these projects later on. Um, so with that, I want to save at least the last 10 minutes for Q&A. So I'll quickly cover a little bit information on the application cycle. So the Fung Fellowship application for spring 2026 is currently open, and is due on Sunday, December 14 at 11:59 p.m. It may take you approximately 30 minutes to work on the application, and I really want to emphasize that it's an opportunity for us to learn more about you, your interests, and what really brings you to the space. So there's no really wrong or right answer. It's just an opportunity to share more about yourself and what you hope to bring to this program and what you also hope to learn from the program. And you can find more information about our program on our website. But if you have any questions while you work on your application, please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can reach out to us at Fung Fellowship at berkeley.edu, or you're welcome to directly reach out to me. I'll drop my email and our departmental email in the chat shortly after I'm done screen sharing here. Um, but you can also see the timeline here after the application deadline on the 14th, December 14th. It's a quick turnaround. We're hoping to send out offers by Friday, December 19th. And with that, I will stop sharing screen. This is our flyer here. You'll also get a copy of this later on this week. But stop share and then stop recording. Sorry, let me get to my Zoom here.